We're live, fellas. Welcome to the best hour of your day, assuming that your day is very, very mediocre. It's the Eric and Rodney Show with Robin, and today we have a very special guest, the man who invented search engine optimization, SEO Chuck. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you.
What a huge hit for this program. Holy shit. But before we get into the SEO Charles segment of the show, we have to cover the news because America demands it. So
they do.
What do we got today?
This one's not even really news, but it was such a great headline.
Mm-hmm.
So the headline is, man mugs woman at gunpoint. Later that evening, he slides into DMs to ask for a date.
Yes.
So apparently, during the robbery, he demanded she pulled out her phone and add him on Facebook.
Yep.
He then later texted, "Damn girl, you was too pretty to rob."
Yep.
And she responded with, "I believe you, man. I can tell you're sweet. Sometimes things just get rough." And then he later asked her to come and chill.
Yeah. Now, he also took $100 from her. He did rob her. So
He did.
you got to shoot your shot, I think is the.
Is this a Fox News story?
You're never going to believe it. It is a Fox News story.
I'm like Sherlock Holmes with this. I know. I always know what it is.
Yep.
So
now,
this is breaking news.
Yes. So it is much like every Fox News story. The real story is in the comment section. So just take a guess, boys. How long in the comment section? How many comments down before they blamed liberals for this? How many do you think?
That's the first one.
No, the first one asked a question.
Oh,
The answer to the
okay.
question was blaming liberals.
Second one.
Just so you know,
Yeah,
it's
second.
Yeah. So this is the theory in the comment section. Okay, stay with me. This young man, 2 weeks before this, was bailed out of jail. He had shot 2 people and hit another one with a brick. So he was on the street. Yep. And then a week later committed this crime. But this is what the liberals are doing. The liberals know that if you shoot somebody, if we let you out of jail, they're going to shoot them again. So what we're doing is letting people out to shoot again to make sure that the shooting statistics are high so the government can take our guns away. This is a real theory purported in the comment section.
He seems reformed, though.
He does seem reformed. Now, you could buy into this if this didn't happen in Indianapolis, Indiana, one of the most Republican states in the nation. So a Republican state is letting people shoot people on the streets so they can eventually take our guns away, is what the comment section says in this Fox News story. What do you think about that, fellas?
Now, here's a question for you. Was that who was commenting? Was that Matt Gaetz or Marjorie Taylor Greene? Come on, this is crazy stuff. You know what's funny though, right?
What Gaetz is doing right now.
This is why these stories
out of an elementary school. That guy loves touching children.
These stories, right? I got to tell you, man, it's almost as like something's going on in Russia. They're really covering important stuff.
You would think there were better stories to more important shit, but no.
I mean, it's just like a couple of things, and it's funny. Like Hunter drops his laptop off, and it's all they talk about for 5 years, right? Hillary sends a couple of emails, whatever what happened with the email thing, and then it's like Trump's indicted. There's stuff going on in Russia, and it's like some guy robbed a lady and text her later.
Yeah, we got to get that on the front page.
I mean, I just don't understand. I don't get it.
It's just some beautiful National Enquirer shit, like CNN didn't cover this, MSNBC. Like I know they get shut on all the time, but they don't have stories like this, which is why we pull them from Fox News all the time.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, so I was like, there's a lot of Fox News stories on here. They all seem like National Enquirer stories.
They do. Now, as with every news story, I feel obligated to ask: in the Philippines, Robin, do you have a lot of holdups at gunpoint and then Instagram messages later?
Instagram messages, no, but holdups is like an everyday thing.
With guns? Do you guys have a gun problem?
Oh yeah. No,
really?
Huge gun problem. Yeah. It's
so
common. Huh?
Can anyone get a gun? Can I go to the local Walmart and get a gun?
It's not that easy, but like there are enough like local gangs to just like get one.
Wait, there's gangs?
Oh Jesus.
Oh yeah.
What kind of gangs are there? What are they called?
Political parties.
No, there's only one. They have a dictator. We learned that.
Yeah. So there's like the elitist gangs, but there are a lot of like local, just small crime syndicates.
Really?
Yeah. I was actually
rap albums.
Yeah, I was actually robbed by a gang years back.
At
With a gun or a knife, or just by hand?
I was. No, knife. Gun and knife. Actually.
Wow.
Nice backup.
Yeah. So I've been through my fair share of those things.
Did they steal your shawl?
Nope. That's the one thing they didn't take.
They took his money and gave him a shawl.
You look cold. Your shoulders look cold. You need this.
So there was one thing that I noticed about these criminals during the holdup is none of them were wearing any shoes. Like they legit, all of these robbers, they only had socks on.
They didn't take your shoes?
Really bizarre.
They're the barefoot bandits. Even I've heard of that. Three major. It's the Bloods, the Crips, and the barefoot bandits.
At that point, I was just like, okay, just take my stuff. Because Jesus, you need some shoes.
Did they ask you to join the gang?
Did they take your money and then like buy your shoes?
Yeah. Why did they take your shoes?
It's like the guy. It's like the Fox story, right? The guy held up the woman, took her money, and then asked her out and used the money to take her to dinner or something, right? I mean, conscionable robbery.
Shit.
Sorry.
Every day. No, it's okay.
The barefoot.
The Bloods, the Crips.
I mean, to be fair, you will get surprised by like how many criminals get caught because of the shoes they're wearing. Like that's a thing.
Oh, they're not wearing.
Never their socks though.
You're not gonna
You're not gonna be like, this is a size 10 Bombas sock here. We know this one.
The bomb.
So and so, right?
Yeah.
So it's like covering your license plate, not wearing shoes, right? That's the idea.
Yeah.
So their feet were dirty. Is that what you're saying? Because you could have just stepped on their foot, and when they went to bend down, you could have kicked them in the face and took the gun and robbed them of their socks.
I am shocked they didn't take your shoes.
You remember that American serial killer who was very viral? I think his name was the Nightcrawler or something.
The Night Stalker. Richard Ramirez. Yeah, that's a good name.
Yeah. So one of the key pieces of evidence back then was his shoe because
his Avivas, his size 9 Avivas.
Really?
Yeah.
Really. It's a documentary.
It was the whole story about how the reporter even released that information on the news, and that was like the one thing the police didn't want to get out there because the criminal didn't know that they were on to his shoe.
For the Americans in the panel, do you think it's odd our obsession with true crime and serial killers? Because it's starting to hurt my soul. Like there's docu-series on every one of these motherfuckers, and they're murdering people. That's how they got famous. Murder.
Well, that's the content that's available.
That's true. But I tried to watch the Jeffrey Dahmer the real thing with the actor, and I couldn't get through the first scene. It was too painful. I'm getting soft.
Oh, you're talking about the show on Netflix?
Yeah.
I almost threw up.
Yeah, when he has the black dude in the apartment.
Yeah, I mean, when he pulled that mattress cover off, I was like, it's over. I'm done.
Yeah, I can't.
I almost threw up. I don't know what happened in that place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was too good. It was too good.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we were in the room with Jeffrey and the guy. I thought we were. I really did. Like, I've seen a lot of horror movies, and I don't really scare that easily. I wasn't even scared. I was just disgusted. It was. Like,
I was disgusted too. Yeah, it felt like I was watching Faces of Death. Remember that classic?
Oh my
VHS
God,
series.
terrible.
Yeah, they used to hurt my soul, and I had the same thing with this. Ugh. Anyway, all right. What do we got next? Oh, I know.
Yeah. So get this: doctors have been facing a surge in cyberbullying. Apparently, this is a thing that happened after the pandemic. So, like 2/3 of the physicians are reporting that they're getting online harassment.
Yeah.
And it's always when they post about public health information, usually relating about vaccines. And why do ignorant people argue with health professionals about medicine not being good for you? I can't get it.
It's Fauci's fault.
Yeah. These motherfuckers are sitting around without polio, without smallpox, without measles, mumps, or rubella. Nobody cries about these vaccines that everybody fucking gets these days. But as soon as something new comes on, because they went on fucking 4chan and QAnon told them it's bad, they all think they're on the same level as Fauci. And this guy, hold on, I got to pull up what he has and who he's arguing with. It drives me.
Don't get me tickled again. I can choke. Seriously.
Okay, here we go. So this guy, Dr. Hotez, I don't know if that's his name, but he's a professor of pediatrics and molecular biology and microbiology at Baylor. And he's
Sounds
arguing,
like a dumb guy.
He's arguing with cousin fucking hillbillies about medicine. He's arguing with Robert Kennedy Jr., who's only famous because his father got shot. And he has a BA. That's not the same as a doctor, like virology and microbiology, and he's arguing with Robert Kennedy Jr.? What the fuck is happening?
Can I just say one thing, though, to add to that story? Is that RFK Jr., said that his knowledge, I'm not making this up. I heard this on the Joe Rogan podcast. He was on it.
Yeah.
He said that his knowledge, like this guy obviously went to school and, obviously has learned and trained and tested, but he said that his knowledge was that he had sued these companies.
Oh, okay.
So that's how he knew. And I'm thinking,
that's how he knows. So his law degree trumps his microbiology degree.
Right. Well, then they invited this guy you're talking about, Dr. However you say his name. They invited him on there to debate Robert Kennedy Jr., which I was like, I don't think that's going to happen.
No. Okay. So he invites him on, says he'll give $100,000 to whatever charity. Much to this guy's credit, he goes, I don't want to turn into the Jerry Springer show where I'm arguing with some idiot. He goes, I'll come on by myself, because this guy doesn't have time to argue with another moron, But what you have is then Elon Musk came out and said that he's afraid because he knows he's wrong. So we have Elon Musk, nepotism baby, siding with Robert Kennedy Jr., nepotism baby, because fucking Donald Trump, nepotism baby, is in power. All of these people were handed all of their success for the most part. And now they're arguing with actual doctors, and it's a real fucking problem. And half the United States goes, yeah, they have a point. Very bothersome.
Do you guys personally know an anti-vaxxer in your life?
Sure fucking do.
Yeah.
Yep.
I knew a lady.
I could form a football team full of.
I knew a lady that I haven't seen her in a long time, but I remember her telling me that when I went to get the vaccine, she said, "Well, have you read the report?" I said, "I don't know how to read that stuff." She's like, "Well, I'm going to read it right now." Bear in mind, this lady manages like a drugstore, right? But like a not a drugstore. It's like a drugstore, but they don't have a pharmacy, right? And then she tells me that her doctor had told her to put her on cholesterol medication, but that she didn't think she needed it and that she could cure it on her own.
Yeah.
And because her legs would cramp. And I said, lady, I've been taking cholesterol medication since I was 11. Take it. I mean, you're going to die. She's like, I'm researching. The other thing I want to say too, though, is that Kyrie Irving also said the same thing, that he was researching it.
Yeah. And he also thinks the earth is flat.
I was just going to say, he's on the precipice of falling off. So I kind of find it when
everybody just told me they're researching, it never seems to be in a position to really understand what I could imagine is the research. I know I certainly couldn't. I don't even know what mRNA is.
Well, here's the real research. Get a fucking medical degree. If you're really committed to research, go to medical school.
You're going to read the reports? I don't even know what they're saying.
Of course you do, because you didn't you didn't go to medical school. And those who went to medical school, the reports make all the sense in the world because they're not fucking sister fucking hillbillies. Here's the other thing. The United States represents 5% of the world population. We consume 90% of the world's pharmaceuticals, which means that we love putting pills in our fucking mouth until something like this comes up and we're like, whoa, slow down.
Yeah.
What are the ingredients? Bro, we eat medicine for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Shut the fuck up. We don't know. 80% of the countries on cholesterol medication. Give me one ingredient in your cholesterol medication. You don't know. Right? You don't fucking
I've been on it since I was 11. I couldn't tell you.
We default to experts all the time. We don't go and quiz the pilot of our airplane about how high we are. Mm-hmm. We fucking bring our cars to the mechanics. We just trust whatever they do. This is what we do. Right. Why then, with vaccines, which we can't even begin to explain, do we go, no, I did research.
This is from a president who suggested that, Clorox bleach might be a good option for a medicine. Right.
You know who didn't suggest that? Anyone who isn't a fucking moron. And
I feel like a lot of the taboo is still revolving around as soon as a needle gets involved, which is strange because taking a pill is actually worse than using a needle because it goes through all your organs. If you're injecting it straight into your muscles or your blood, then it's not as effective. So I don't understand why needles are so taboo still.
That's how I do heroin, and it's the best.
It's free basic. Yeah, I don't understand it either. I thought when the vaccine came out, I'm like, everyone's going to be thrilled, and people were like, "You can't take it, don't get it." And it's like, I remember all of these people were like, every day they were like, "This guy said it was real and this and that, and he's died."
Yeah. The audacity too that so you don't believe in medicine when it comes to this, but if you break your leg, I'm going to venture to say you're going to go to the hospital, and then all of a sudden you trust the shit out of this guy, right? Yeah. If you're having open heart surgery, you're like, oh wait, can I see the instruments? Because I'm very concerned. No, you shut the fuck up and lay on the table. So it's like
let me see his transcript.
Yeah, and I don't believe in any kind of medicine to put me out while you do the surgery. By the way,
yeah,
I
I don't
watch
believe
you.
in science. You're gonna tell. Oh God,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hold your hand.
I'm gonna watch you do this.
yeah. Remember they say too, like if we take the vaccine, like we're swallowing listening devices, or they're, you know what I mean? Like there's all these weird things. But when they cut you open and put a pacemaker in your heart, they're not dropping any listening device in there. It's just so fucking.
Well, they also said it was due to 5G, right? Which oddly enough, I read an article the other day that said that 5G has largely been a disappointment.
Oh, it's been hugely disappointing.
Remember they were like 5G is going to change the internet. My Wi-Fi is pretty fast, but 5G, I don't. AT&T, I think, has one tower in a cave somewhere.
Yeah, nobody. 5G, the metaverse, 5G, NFTs, the blockchain. It's all been terrible.
It really has. And then you know what's funny too is that people are always like, "Yo, you got to get on Web3. You got to get on Web3 and create NFTs." And I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Is that the Bitcoin CBD stuff?
Yeah, exactly. It's solving problems that we don't have. I'm perfectly fine with the internet as it is. All the porn's there. I don't need to go somewhere else. Once again, let's take the Filipino perspective. Do you guys have anti-vaxxers? You're too busy robbing people.
Yeah. So our vaccines are very complete, actually. So like everyone is required to take.
First of all, who calls them vaccines? It's vaccines.
Yeah, vaccines.
Oh, vaccine.
Yeah, your English is very, very, very good, but some words I'm like, that's interesting. So even in a third world nation, you're smart enough to know everyone should get vaccinated.
Yep, and everyone in the Philippines has it, and they also have at least 2 boosters. Everyone.
And how's it going? Do you feel mind controlled or anything like that?
No, man. I mean, some days.
I certainly do. When I was getting my shot, I went to the CVS and there was a guy beside me and he's like, "Where do you think she's going back there?" And I was like, "To get the real stuff."
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh boy. I have none of this side of the family watches this show, so I'm sure it's fine. I've been my whole one side of my family is all Republican anti-vaxxer lunatics, right? So one of my aunts, her daughter's fiance died of cirrhosis, and the doctor was like, he died of cirrhosis, and she's like, no, vaccine. And he's like, no, cirrhosis. And she's like, no, the fucking vaccine killed him. Like, fucking doctor. You know what I mean? So whatever it is, they died in a car accident. Fucking vaccines. Yeah. Goddamn vaccines.
Made him forget how to drive.
Yeah, I was reading something. This guy, and they were saying Nicki Minaj's brother or cousins, uncles, nephews, aunt, or somebody died, and they were like, "How do you know that?" She's like, "Because he told me." I see. It's absurd.
Even if vaccines aren't killing people, like there's some collateral damage with everything, right? I mean, we got to lose a few of us. Not that they did, but even if they did, shut the fuck up. They saved billions, you know? Yeah.
Scary times.
I just think if you're an anti-vaxxer, stop going to the doctors. It's all a giant conspiracy theory. Everything they give you, cholesterol medication.
I can solve some problems.
Yeah, thin the herd.
Actually, no, I think you're onto something. Do you remember the ALS challenge? Right, how well it did, right? You remember that? I saw one time, and it was like the stupidity challenge. And instead of pouring water over your head like the ALS challenge, which was amazing, you put a plastic bag over your head. It's called the stupidity challenge.
I love it. Well, didn't Trump say that you should put bleach? Like bleach kills the thing, so we should inject
Lysol, yeah.
Yeah, that was the Clorox thing.
The Clorox.
It was Clorox, right? Or was it the Tide Pods? I forget.
those were delicious, by the way, Jimmy.
Yeah. I got to be honest. He was wrong about a lot of stuff. The Tide Pods, he was
spot on. Yeah.
Wait, can I just say something really quick? I don't know if you heard this in the news. I know we're doing the news, but now there's a tape of him telling someone he has a classified document with him rustling papers, and he's like, "That's not right." And he's like, "I didn't have any papers with me." And then he's like, "It's not." He's like, "Well, I could have unclassified it when I was president, but I'm not president now, so I can't unclassify it."
Yeah, this whole thing is, I don't. He's our president. Was our president?
He's president tense.
Wild times.
Wild times. All right, what's next?
Okay, the next story is a little bit more depressing because it just shows that a lot of executives are a bit delusional. So there are some statistics that are showing that American workers' well-being is at a decline. So there was a sample of executives and workers that were taken aside for an interview, and 77% of these executives thought that the well-being of the workers was getting better. And then they asked the same question to the workers, and only a third of them agreed. So what do you guys think the problem is? Why are people not satisfied at work?
The corner office door is closed.
Is that the problem?
There's a huge disconnect between those upper 1% executives and their workers, don't you think? I mean,
yeah, agree.
I do, but like, this is my thing. Humans have been around for 200,000 years. Being happy at work is like 20 years old. You think you went to a cobbler in 1350? It was like, hey, how's your job satisfaction? The guy go, I make fucking shoes all day and I die at 25. How do you think it is? You know what I mean? Like, what is the expectation to be happy at work? Work sucks.
I'm breaking rocks.
Imagine working in a mine and your boss comes down and goes, is everything fine? He goes, no, I'm getting blackballed. Dying because you guys need to pollute the environment. Hey, all right, see you later. Have a good lunch. You know what I mean? Like, being happy at work. Expectation levels are way too high.
Doesn't it remind you of the Mad Men episode where I think they went to Cleo? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have this stuff memorized. And they went to Cleo and Peggy gets upset. You know, she's like, you didn't think. And he goes, that's the money. That's what the money's for. That's how we thank you.
Yeah, she goes, you never thank me for my ideas. He goes, that's what the money's for. I feel the same way. It's like you're getting a paycheck, right? Like, what do you want, a back rub? Like, what you want them to read you a story? Like, these rich people, the bosses have their own lives. They got their own shit. They got wives and kids that are pains in the asses.
Yeah, and if you don't like it, find something else.
That's exactly like.
Or start your own company.
Or do that.
I just the hatred for like people that own companies. Like, we're business owners, right? Like, we are this. Right. If I get more employees, I'm not going to go like, here's the other thing. You can't give them a nice slap on the ass anymore. That's harassment. So it's just better to stay away from them. We used to be able to have sex with them to show our appreciation. You can't fuck them anymore.
That's a good point.
Right? What can we do?
My first job out of college, I was a headhunter, and I had to be on the phone. They had these machines that tell you how long you have to be on the phone.
Yeah.
8 hours. That's connect time.
That's brutal.
And I thought,
oh no!
Like, well, isn't this an 8-hour day? Like, when do you go home and have lunch and scratch your nuts? I mean, it's ridiculous. I got another job.
The nut scratching is the real issue.
Yeah,
a lack of nut scratching time. Right, so
that's insane.
Usually, I quote Chris Rock on this, but I'm going to quote Will Smith, another sage, another American treasure, until he smacked the real American treasure.
Yeah.
But in that conversation where Jada Pinkett came out and like admitted that she was cheating on him, part of that whole thing, he said something to the effect of, her happiness isn't on me. Like, I should be happy, she should be happy, and then we should come together as two happy people, and that's what a marriage makes. And I feel that's like, if you're relying on your boss to make you happy at work, you're fucking up. Fundamentally, you're fucking up. It's not on, you know what I mean? It can't possibly, especially if it's a big company. Like, who the fuck are you? I'm giving you money. Shut up or go somewhere else.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm kind of curious, and I want all of you to answer this question. What is the most humbling job that you've had?
Oh, Jesus.
Or probably your first job.
I was a busboy. I worked my way up to bartender, and cleaning up fucking half-eaten food is just, oh boy. I used to do.
Mine was, my stepfather thought it was a good idea one year that I learned how to, get into surveying. Not necessarily get into it, but like do it for the summer. And my first day on the job, the guy's like, do you ever want a wetsuit? I was like, yeah. Yeah. And he's like, you got to put it on. You're getting in raw sewage to hold these things. And I was like, what? That was pretty bad.
I was a house painter in college, and I loved being outside. The money was great, but in New England in August on a roof with a full ventilator and a 20-pound grinder, because the old house has lead paint or whatever the case is, it was pretty miserable. Mm-hmm. And I remember being covered with paint, getting in my 84 Sunbird that had no air conditioner and vinyl seats, and the paint would melt to the steering wheel. So by the end of the summer, my car looked like a tie-dye, where I was sitting.
Did you ever bitch to your boss about the working conditions?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't. The money was good. By the end of the summer, I hated it, but my bank account looked pretty good going back to college. I didn't have to work while I was. Well,
that's the grand irony.
Yeah, that's it, right?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, just like the cobbler or the miner or the house painter, these people aren't complaining. The people that are complaining are in offices that are air conditioned with ping pong tables and beanbag chairs and all the other goofy shit they thought would make us happy, and they're still crying about shit. Shut the fuck up. Go paint houses.
You can thank my generation for that.
Oh, you're soft as shit, you kids.
Start a TikTok channel or whatever it is, right?
Exactly. The new TikTok challenge should be shutting the fuck up at work and working. You guys ever consider that challenge?
Ever thought about that one?
Honestly, snacks, coffee bars. I went to a WeWork. There's kegs. There's kegs.
Oh, yeah.
You can drink beer. And
You know, I went to one time where they had 5 different flavors of kombucha, and I was like, "Oh, it all tastes like vomit. I'm not interested."
Oh, kombucha tastes like bile. Why are
Yeah,
we
so-
drinking vinegar, lunatics?
But think about it, right? There's 5 different ones, and I'm thinking, and then I remember when they were like, "Yeah, they went out of business." You know, WeWork had all these problems and went out of business. I'm like, there were signs.
Yeah.
You know, these Gen Z shits walked in and goes, "Only 5 kombuchas? Only 5 kombuchas?
Only.
How am I supposed to work in these conditions?"
Did you ever see that documentary, or it wasn't a documentary, but like a movie where Jared Leto played him? Like the guy in real life's like 6'7" or whatever, but Jared Leto's like 4'5".
Yeah.
And he plays him, and he's talking to the investor or whatever at SoftBank, and he's like, "Why didn't you give me the money or something?" He's like, "Dream bigger." And I'm just thinking, like, what kind of sage advice is that? Dream bigger? I mean, I've been dreaming big, guys, but how does it come together?
Yeah,
it was just like so crazy.
I think there's more ingredients to that than just dream bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
You think about all the awful jobs. Like there's like someone out there right now is inseminating a cow. Like you have to shove your hand, like you got to get to your shoulder in a cow's asshole. You ever think he goes, "Hey boss, I need to talk to you for a second. I'm happy with my work. I have my arm in a cow's asshole."
See,
It's really not an asshole if they're inseminating it, Eric.
That's true, but it's
You might have
behind.
more kids.
That's
Right.
not how babies are made. I've been now I am
We've been doing it all wrong.
the error of my ways.
Look how many kids you could have had.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Could have had a village by now.
I know. I've been doing it all wrong. I feel like I was close though. Very close.
Well, you got it right a couple of times, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, the road's slippery down there, you know? Sometimes you veer off. Anyway, what's that next?
That's a good turn for the worse.
Hey now. Or a turn for the better. What's
Okay,
left?
so
We're
this
getting
is the most controversial one.
This is the most controversial one? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've covered about this before, but like they've made headlines again because they're just making bad decisions. So Bud Light again has made a poor decision, and this resulted because they sponsored Toronto Pride. And how could it go wrong? Well, let me tell you. The parade involved groups of full naked men walking in the street, and kids were presently watching and involved. Another clip showed a bunch of people wearing giant penis costumes. Now, I have nothing against LGBT or Pride, but a problem that I constantly do have is they are heavily sexualized, and I don't think this is something kids should be witnessing.
Okay. I am again going to take the counterpoint to this.
Okay.
You know what happens at a gay pride parade. Guys whip them out, spin them in circles, entertain the crowd, right? Don't bring your kid to a gay pride parade. Like it's like naked women in front of kids. If I bring my kid to a strip club, what am I supposed to expect? Keep your kids at home, and they don't have to be exposed to spinning flaccid penises. But if you know that you're going to a parade where one of the main components of entertainment is a spinning flaccid penis, then my dear God, keep them at home. Here's the other thing. Once again, Fox News crying about this. Until they address that the main killer of children in this country is guns, like they're very pro-gun, they're very anti-spinning flaccid penises, which is conceptually bizarre to me. Don't you think? I don't want to hear anything else about hurting the kids until we solve the problem of shooting them in the head at school. I know that's
I got to be honest. I kind of agree with Eric. I don't like why would you bring a kid? Like, just give you an example. I went on a snorkeling adventure one time, and someone brought a crying baby, and I said, "Why would you bring a crying baby on a snorkeling excursion in the cenotes?"
There are nudity. Yes, I agree with you. Like, don't bring.
But this was in Canada, so there's no nudity laws there.
Yeah,
Right?
I think
Everyone's naked.
Yes, there are nudity laws, but I mean, I've urinated in public when I've had to. Sometimes you got to get on a parade and dress in feathers and make out with each other. I don't know. Just keep the kids away.
Yeah, there are gun laws in place too.
What's that?
There are gun laws in place too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You're meaning to tell me that the criminals don't follow the rules? You guys are mistaken.
Yeah. Plus, I was under the impression that more guns made things safer. You know, if that was the case, we would be safe as fuck.
Well, you remember guns don't kill people. Alec Baldwin kills people.
that's always going to be a classic.
There was a really good bit on Amy Schumer, and I'm not the biggest Amy Schumer fan, but she did a bit on his wife because his wife pretended to be from Spain or whatever.
Oh my
Alec
God.
Baldwin's wife.
Nothing makes me happier than listening to Hilaria pretend to be Spanish.
Hilaria.
She's from Massachusetts.
Yep.
She went to high school in like Newton, and she did. Oh my God, have you seen this phenomenon?
It's insanity. Yeah, so she's on a show one day, and she's like, she picks up a cucumber, and she say, "How do you
say
say?"
this language? It's a pickle
motherfucker. Like, she's Hillary from Boston.
Yeah, Hilaria, and then they all buy into it. It's the weirdest thing.
Hilarious.
So she was like, Amy Schumer was like, these two are psychopaths.
Oh, they're total psychopaths. They are fucked up. All of the Baldwins, they're not national treasures. They're nothing like Chris Rock. And who else do we say?
Oh yeah, Chris and I think The Rock gave him a national treasure.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Cat Hanks. Yeah. Tom Brady.
National
Brady.
Treasure. Yep. Yeah, but not Alec Baldwin.
No.
Anyway, don't bring your kids to pride parades and you won't see penises. Are you shocked that you saw a penis at a pride parade? Really? Don't believe in vaccines. Are angry about penises at pride parades. Stop it.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I don't recall everyone ever being like, I got to get the kids together, go to the pride parade. Like I don't. It just seems like anytime I've ever seen footage, like I never see children at these things.
Well, a lot of spitting, flaccid penises.
Now the other thing is too, right? Is that I don't think it's weird that Bud Light did this because Bud Light, they've changed their direction around, right?
Yeah, but the other thing I think too, like once you sponsor something as a corporate, like you can just pull out. Like they probably they said they're going to sponsor it 6 months ago. You can't just go, oh, the conservatives are mad. We can't sponsor your pride parade anymore. I mean, fuck them.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, I mean, because I was curious. I was thinking maybe Bud Light will get better.
Yeah.
If they're changing the direction, maybe it'll taste better.
I doubt it.
Because I got to be honest, I don't think that's their audience, but maybe things have changed, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, once again, like in the comment section, it was hilarious because they're like, "This Bud Light's going to go out of business now." Oh my God, stop.
That's. I mean, let's not get crazy. I don't know if it's going to go out of business.
They're down 25%. We're still talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're just one piece of InBev. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, stop us. Nothing is worse on the earth than the comment section in Fox News. It is a cesspool.
Did you hear the other news that I think Greg something another, or I forgot who it was now, I read it earlier, is replacing TC at Fox.
Greg Gutfeld?
Yeah. Is that his name?
Yeah. I think we should replace Tucker Carlson.
Who is that guy? Is he new?
No, he had a shittier. He's like, I mean, he'll morph into Tucker, but he doesn't have. They should
hire us.
They should. We have charisma.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And we have SEO Chuck. Speaking of which, it's the SEO Chuck hour. So
that's right.
I think we're going to try to make this a weekly segment because this is on LinkedIn and LinkedIn loves business stuff. So
and they love SEO.
And you love SEO. So Rodney Steele, you have many questions about search and optimization. So
I have.
Let's go easy on Chuck in the beginning. We got to warm him up.
I'm gonna throw a couple softballs here.
Okay.
So Chuck, welcome. The first question I have, right, is that for all the simpletons and asking for a friend, explain to us in very simple terms, what is SEO and how does it work?
Sure. Well, it's search engine optimization, SEO. And basically what it is there's two sides to it. There's the optimizing your website. So fine tuning your website so that it gets found in Google or mostly Google searches when people are searching for something using a keyword. So those keywords have to be part of your site's makeup. The other side of it is satisfying Google. So making sure your website loads quickly, has all the technical components that allows Google to differentiate your site from others in the same space. So things like schema or metadata and things like that allow Google to say this website should rank for this keyword because it's fine-tuned, it's optimized, and it's moving on all cylinders when it comes to a certain set of keywords or a certain target group. Mm-hmm. That's really what it is in a nutshell.
So let's say hypothetically, right, just brainstorming here. Let's say that you were, I don't know, a PEO broker and you were ranking for that. So you would want to own those keywords. Is that what that's what you're saying? But is it just those keywords or more keywords?
It's a whole bunch of keywords, right? So let's just say the main keyword is PEO broker. That's great. We want to make sure that that keyword has some real estate on your website, and it's coming up when people are searching for that. But there are a lot of other keywords, we call them variants, that are in that same keyword space, right? So there might be PEO broker for hospitality, or there might be PEO broker for payroll, or something along those lines that make that head keyword a more long tail keyword. The longer the keyword it is, the less searches there are for that keyword, but the more fine-tuned and the more targeted the people who click on that might be.
So the buyer intent might be higher, or conversion intent,
correct.
right?
Yeah, think of a funnel, right? A sales funnel. There's top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom funnel. PEO broker might be up here at the top. They're searching. They don't necessarily know what they're looking for. They're kind of exploring or researching. Maybe those folks go to a website. They get stuck into a marketing automation platform like a HubSpot, and you can work them, nurture them into the lower part of the funnel. But if you get in specific, like PEO broker cost, that tells me someone's kind of looking for something specific. They're kind of more down in the bottom of the funnel. Right. Or if they look for a specific industry, that might trigger to me maybe a middle of the funnel. So you're going to get a more targeted buyer coming to your website. Maybe you show them different content. So this kind of all kind of plays into how you optimize the site. It's once you kind of figure out the technical side, it's very much a content game, building content to satisfy all these various keywords or buckets of keywords.
Now, Google doesn't tell us, right? Sorry, Eric, I know you probably had a question, but just so we're clear here, right? Because I've had a couple of websites, I have a couple of companies, and you and I've worked together. You're amazing. I guess my question is that like, I found out about a lot of these things from reading and stuff, and obviously you're educating us, but like, I don't think the average person even knows what a schema is, right? I mean, like I almost feel like Google makes these rules, doesn't tell anyone, and then they're like, you guys got to figure it out, and it's like, and no one at Google can ever help you do anything, right? You call up and they're like, do you want to buy AdWords? And if you're like, I don't know if I want to buy AdWords, they're like, I get off the phone. You know what I mean? They can't help you. They disappear.
Yeah. So there are certain best practices, and there is a support site at Google that will tell you what schema is, what it should look like, what pages you need to focus on and whatnot. But it's not something that, someone not in the SEO space would really find and understand, which is why I've been in business, as long as I've been in business. But there are certain best practices, and there are things that we do. No one knows really what the Google algorithm does, although Google tells you what factors of your website are technically ranking factors and what aspects of your website or best practices in SEO are not ranking factors. One example is meta descriptions. They're not a ranking factor. Google tells you they are not a ranking factor in their algorithm, but they're important because that's what shows up on the search engine results page that describes what that page is about. And if we, put a bunch of bullshit in there and someone clicks and goes to the web page and realizes right away that that has nothing to do with what the description said, then they're going to go back to the search result, and that's a bounce. And so if you have a high bounce rate is a ranking factor. So, you do need to consider your meta descriptions, even though Google doesn't really look at them specifically when it comes to placing your website in the search results page.
Yeah, the average person's never gonna. I mean, it makes sense what you're saying, but the average person would. I mean, Eric, did you know that?
No, I was going to say. So this is at this point, it's impenetrable for the rookie to get involved in this, right? Like you really, and I'm not just saying this because you own a company like this, but there's at this point because you've been doing this for how long?
C4's been in business for 13 years.
Yeah, so there's no way a rookie can come in and compete with you, right?
We figured it out. We read a lot. My business partner Jason and I, we kind of figured out by doing what works and what doesn't. There's black hat practices, right? I mean, there were times when we come into a new client and they're like, "Why is our site tanking?" And we dissected what was going on, and it turned out that the white part of the website in the background was filled with white font.
Yeah,
it was all keywords.
Keyword stuffing, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was like total black hat technique, right? Google's going to penalize you. They're going to destroy your credibility on the search results page. And 85% of all shit takes a starting point at Google. Any search is going to be critical that you follow the rules. So, you got to play the game. You got to play it right. But at the end of the day, like I said, after you optimize the website and it's fine tuned according to all best practices, you've got to build content. Your website will get pretty stale and pretty thin if you don't.
It's going to be tough too, because we live in a society with, we want immediate results and instant gratification, but SEO tends to be a longer play, right? I mean, you look at it.
Yeah, it's very much a longer play. There are companies we've been working with for 10 years, and we just continually add keywords to our keyword list, continually fine tune the site, and we slowly see the needle move up when it comes to organic traffic and results and conversions. It's a very much a long-term play, but it's sustainable, right? I mean, if we take a break and we focus on something else on their website, we're going to continue to build on what we've already done. AdWords or paid search, that's not sustainable. You want more leads, throw money at it. As soon as you stop the money flow, your paid search traffic goes down to zero. So, I mean, that can be a very viable, technique and strategy. And we have a lot of clients we help with Google AdWords, but it's not a sustainable strategy. It's a very important one, but it's
the best way to understand it, Chuck. I'm just asking, because I said this to Eric the other day, and I wanted to ask you, is the best way to understand it is SEO is forever, so to speak, right? And AdWords is temporary. When I say forever, I mean because everything lives on the internet forever, right? Eventually, if you don't produce content, you'll get bumped. But right?
I mean, I think that's high level. That's accurate. We have clients where they just say, we just want you to come in and optimize our website, and that's it. Okay, you'll see a bump. You'll see a bump.
Right.
You'll move the needle, but at some point that's going to plateau. If you don't continually build content around keywords and make sure that content is optimized for them. So I mean, I think in a perfect world scenario, if you devote budget to SEO on an ongoing strategy, you're going to reap results. It's going to take time. And so if there are people out there that want to throw money at SEO and then walk away, save your money.
Yeah, right. It's not a weekend play. You know what I mean? Yeah, you gotta. It's a long term.
It's tough too when you're in an industry that people aren't necessarily searching for, right? Like, say there's 3 people that really want a nationally syndicated radio show. You're trying to get there through getting found on the internet. I don't think anyone's looking for talent, right? So I think there has to be a match between what you're selling and what people are searching for as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, we have some clients that are in pretty niche industries, and they have a very finite target audience. They still optimize their website. They still build content on a regular basis. They still employ AdWords because there's also an awareness play there for them, where they're trying to build their audience a little bit, even if it's a incremental at a time. I mean, I think there's a play for SEO no matter what. Like I said, regardless of what industry you're in, across the board, 85, it might be even like 86% of all purchases start with a Google search.
Whoa, 86?
Yep.
Wow. That low?
Yep. I mean, there are things like toothpaste. You probably don't need to search for Google anymore, but any service, mechanic, all that. And Google now, if you look at the search results page, there's a lot of what we call no-click deliverables, right? If you want to know how to convert, so let's put it this way. You have a website that converts dollars to pounds. Yep. You're screwed, because right now, if you just do a search for how many pounds is $5, Google's going to show you what that is without even giving you a website.
I do that with measurements too. Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, and recipes,
Yeah, I have a question too. Obviously they have Bing, right? I mean, Microsoft has Bing, and I guess I'm assuming that's probably they have the other some portion of that other 14% that Google doesn't have, right, of search. I mean, and this is probably a stupid question, but does their systems work like Google, or is it completely different? Like, or do they have this algorithms and stuff, or not?
Yeah, they do. Theirs is a little different. I think it's microscopically different in the big picture of things. There are fields that they use like meta keywords, where Google doesn't necessarily like meta keywords, which is just a field that you can put in your website. There's subtle differences, but at the end of the day, if your strategy is to optimize for Bing, only Bing, so you can capture that 14% that no one gives a shit about, you're better off focusing on Google and getting the coattails of Bing, for sure.
I know this is impossible to know for sure, but what percentage do you think of like mid-sized businesses are doing everything right in terms of search?
That's a good question.
Gosh, I'd be guessing at this, but if I had to guess, I'd say 5 to 10%.
5 to 10%. So there is room for people to come in and sort of still dominate the SEO game, because chances are, they're not.
People aren't. Yeah, no one else.
So the largest semiconductor company on the planet that has offices in Massachusetts and Oregon, I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
We went and looked at their website, and their website was optimized great. The problem is they're adding so much content to their website on a daily basis. They're adding videos, they're adding blogs, news reports, white papers, guides, and that stuff's all going live unoptimized. So if you look at it, when I said earlier, the best thing you can do to your website is to build content. That content has to be optimized.
Yeah.
You can't just throw it on your website and kick back. It's working that way, but it could work way better if it was actually optimized before.
So you're saying if you wrote a blog, for argument's sake, or an article or a page or whatever, right? That should be it. Now, here's the question I have for you. That's a great point, because we create a lot of content. How do you optimize it?
Yeah. So we try to build our process into your writing and posting process. So we have a lot of clients, and we optimize their website, but they blog, 2-3 times a week. They send us the blog in just a Word format, and we mark it up with our SEO recommendations.
Okay, so you actually do it for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And
that's
then
incredible. Okay.
we turn it around usually 24 hours or less, and so we're a small part of their content creation process. They get our recommendations, and they can either accept them or not accept them. Most of them are pretty easy to accept. We're not changing the whole meaning of the post, but then they can actually post that blog live, and it's going live optimized. It's sort of like the companies we talk to regularly that say, oh yeah, we're not quite ready for SEO. We're updating our website. Okay, but now's the best time for you to be hiring us.
Right.
But no, we're going to wait till the website goes live. Okay, and then they call us and they're like, hey, can you come in and optimize the site? And we say, sure.
Is that website not going to have any words?
Yeah, and we're like, well, you need to change your heading tags on this page, this page, this page, and this page, because you're not using keywords at all in any of these really important pieces of SEO real estate. And oh, by the way, you're missing image tags on all these
right,
photos and images on your site. And oh, by the way, your page load time is crappy. You should have built the site this way with these types of images, and these formats are all wrong. And so it's like, well, geez, I wish you had told me that before, like, well, so yeah, that big semiconductor company is missing a huge opportunity in optimizing this content that they're really good at creating, and it's going to go a long way in boosting their site. And it does, but it could work harder.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
I
get
have a question?
Go ahead.
Well, so I'm going to give Chuck a scenario which I think is kind of true to life with SEO. Say there's a website and there are 2 SEO experts, and then so you might have one SEO expert look at the website and say it's really great, it's really optimized, and then the other SEO expert takes a look at it and says, oh, this optimization is crap. Mm-hmm. Why does that seem to happen a lot between SEO experts?
Because some SEO experts are not experts.
But why are there so many of them?
There's a big gray area with SEO. I think you said it best, Rod, earlier on. Like no one really knows what SEO is and how to employ it correctly. And I would just look at the track record of these SEO experts. Show me a few sites you've optimized. Can you show me some rudimentary data or metrics on how your optimization has improved or not improved the site performance? There's a lot of people out there that think they know about SEO, and there's a lot of people out there that do know a lot about SEO. And you've got to kind of unfortunately get through the weeds to get the nice green grass.
Yeah. Well, I think part of the is it's mysterious and takes a long time to work. So it's tough, right? Like you got to buy into a system and do the right things on your end too. It's like personal training. If they're not optimizing their content, then you're fucked, right? It's not going to work. So there's many parts that go into the success, and it takes a long time, right?
Yeah, it sounds cliche, but I think one of our first clients said it's just kind of like an art and a science, and it kind of is. You've got to be creative in how you build content. There's all these different ways now that people are building content. There's hub pages or pillar pages, and there's long form blog content, and there's e-guides, and do you do a PDF or do you do HTML? And, what's the right cadence for posting content? And, all of those things are really important. And that's kind of the art. The science is, hey, you idiot, you have a 1 meg, JPEG when you should have a 15K, PNG file. So it's like,
I love that scenario where I would absolutely do what you just said, because like I don't even know I'm an idiot. You know what I mean? Like it's obvious to you, but I would have no idea I'm an idiot. I'd go, yeah, so obviously I'm an idiot, but I didn't know I was being an idiot. I don't know what size. What the fuck? You really need.
Yeah, I always get a lot of notes on that too. They're always like, people's like, there's an error with some picture. It's always something with the pictures, right? And it's like,
I'm supposed to know though.
Yeah,
it's hard.
It's like the pages. This website's loading too slow. It's all constant.
A lot of times people have a menu of photos, where it scrolls, like a slideshow, and each one of those is trying to load all at the same time. Well, you can do lazy loading so that only the images above the fold load right away. That'll save your site some page load time and little things like that. That just can, there's new formats for images that can help, these things all function a lot better. But yeah, I mean, there's companies out there that hire SEO experts, and that's great, but a lot of our clients just don't have that capability of having a SEO specific person on their marketing team, and frankly, if you look at our costs anyway, it's a lot cheaper to hire someone like us to do SEO full time than it is for you guys to hire someone.
Oh yeah, you're way less than a full-time employee. Plus, no vacation days. You don't have to give you a ping pong table, no kombucha bar, nothing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Kombucha would be nice, except I agree, it does taste like shit. So.
Yeah, it tastes like bile.
Yeah.
It tastes like after you puke night of drinking.
So I have another question, if you can believe it. I've been full of questions today. Usually I'm half asleep in these things. My other question is, I'm joking. My other question is this: if let's say I started a bonsai tree store today, I'm making this up, and I hired you, and I said I want to be the bonsai king of New York. I'm in New York, and how long do you think? Now, obviously, I know you don't know. Obviously, you can't predict the future, but what am I looking at? 2 years, 3 years, a year to really start seeing SEO? 6 months?
Sure.
What are you thinking?
Well, so yeah, I would say you could move the needle, 3 to 4 months. Until you get king, I'd have to do a lot of things first. And one of the first things we usually do when we were engaging with new clients is a competitor analysis. We want to see who else is out there in your space. Specifically, if you're going after companies just in New York, then it becomes more of a local SEO play. So we want to just focus in on New York bonsai players and try to figure out who those guys are and why are they successful? Why are they ranking really well? We don't want to
do that though. You know that, right? Like I have a team of people that I work with now, and I'm leading the charge. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is what we should do. I have no idea what we should do. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the beauty of hiring someone that you trust.
Yeah, and I don't know if you heard the intro, but Chuck invented SEO. So if you're gonna trust anybody,
that's your intro.
Charles.
I don't know that I want to be.
He was the great grandson of Jebediah SEO.
I don't want to be the guy that invented SEO. There are a lot of people that would hate me.
Oh man, yeah, right.
That's true. Have you ever considered being the face of the franchise when it comes to, like, Neil Patel is always on, and that Rand Fishkin guy with the thing? Have you ever considered standing in front of a whiteboard and teaching some lessons?
No.
Okay, can you consider it? Can I produce that show?
I could be your SEO expert, Eric, for sure.
Okay, I need you in front of the whiteboard.
I mean, I got to tell you, I've been in business myself personally for 13 years, and you're the smartest person I've met when it comes to SEO.
Well, I think,
and I've met a lot of charlatans. I'm not saying you're a charlatan, but I've met a lot of people. I've met people that worked for Google, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, and the other thing is, everyone needs, this drives me crazy. Everyone needs your service, right? But only 5 to 10% of people are doing it the right way.
Yeah, I mean, there are scenarios, I guess, that exist where you don't need SEO. I mean, if you're, I don't know, selling nothing and don't care about your revenue, then probably.
So outside of selling nothing and not wanting to make money, you could use SEO.
Probably, yeah. There's probably something
Gary
we can do.
I think it was Gary V, our old buddy Gary V, that said, somebody asked him one time about SEO, right? I don't think he's an expert like Chuck, but they said, he go, when should people use SEO? Because if you have a website.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty accurate, right? I mean,
yeah.
if you sell toothpaste like Crest, I don't know if crest
Yeah.
as SEO.
So Pornhub gets something like 600 million visits a day. I don't think they need to be very optimized. Do you think they're doing like meta descriptions and title tags?
Probably
not. I don't know.
Do you think I should contact Pornhub and go, if you're happy with 600 million, let me get old Chuck on this.
We'll get everybody.
In 6 months, holy shit, you can't even imagine.
Yeah. There's, like I said, there are some companies out there that probably don't need SEO, but a majority of companies can probably benefit from a tune-up.
So let me ask you one other question really quick. So let's say I was Johnny New Business and I saw this show and I said, you know what? I think I need Chuck's magic touch. Tell us what happens.
Well, we would set up a quick call, find out a little bit more about what it is you are concerned about, how your site is performing today, why you think you need SEO. And then I'd grab some competitors. We'd probably do an audit, a technical and a competitor analysis for you, present that. And if you like what you see, we'd probably send an SOW over and engage. And that engagement can be, as short as 3 months, just to make sure we optimize the site. There's usually a 30-day out. If you don't want to work with us, I really don't want to waste my time working with you.
Right.
Sure.
And then, we keep going. It's usually a month over month kind of thing.
So we bring in Chuck. We bring in SEO Chuck. Not only do you make money, but you kick the shit out of your competition. I mean, this seems like it's
right. Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Very American. This is an American transaction that people are missing out on right now.
I mean, it just seems like it's common sense. I mean, I don't like, what am I missing here?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, there are people that believe in it and there are people that don't. Let's get back to vaccinations.
Yeah. For gravity, for air.
Analogy.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though? I bet you would find more people that believe SEO is real than vaccines are real.
Yeah. That's a sad statement, but you're probably absolutely 100% right.
Do you have to combat the like snake oil salesman aspect? Because there's a lot of that on the internet, right? Like I think fundamentally a lot of people don't believe in the idea of SEO.
Yeah, there was a lot more of that back when we started, where people always come to me and say, hey, we just had a guy told me I could do this, and this, and he was super cheap. And, there were a couple of times when we said, well, you should try him. And, and they'd come back like, dude, why didn't you tell me?
Try him.
Because,
how do you not make that mistake? Like, how do you smell out the SEO charlatans?
Yeah, I mean, just find someone you trust. There's a lot of testimonials out there. We're happy to give references. Find someone that you can rely on. It goes with anything, right? I mean, there are companies in paid search. There are companies in social media marketing that can rob you blind. I used to do direct mail, and there's a whole bunch of people there and agencies there that can rob you blind because they want to sell stamps, But there's a lot of fluff out there. You just got to find the right person to guide you through it.
Do you think that we could make a mark in the SEO game with an SEO company at this point, or are all SEO companies so SEO'd out that there's no hope? Because I have an idea for patriotic SEO.
Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely, a lot of niche players in the SEO space. Like we partner with a lot of agencies and help them, expand their service delivery. That's one way that we expanded our business. There are companies out there that focus on barbershops, and there are companies out there that focus on liquor store SEO. I mean, there's niches out there, and those are good places to go if you're in that space. There's SaaS companies and
SaaS would be good. That's
just focus on startup tech, and that's great. Find someone in your wheelhouse if you feel that there's just too much people talking trash.
I don't want to belabor the point, but do you think there's a porn focused SEO company out there that only works on porn websites?
There's got to be.
If there's not, I have an idea for some content.
$1 million idea.
Do you think there's a website that sells shoes to Filipino gangsters? Because I know there's a need.
Yeah, that's
what I was thinking about earlier when he said that, right? Is I was thinking $1 billion idea. Is we go down there, we make it's just clear. The bottom's clear. There's no.
Yeah, I was going to say no treads.
Yeah, no treads. They're like, I don't know who was here. Somebody wearing these shoes. Everybody wears them. We gave them away for free.
Doesn't it rain a lot though?
It does rain a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't they be sliding all over the place trying to get away?
That's a good point.
It's dropping.
That's true.
What about like rain boots with cleats on the bottom? That would be good, right? Little traction.
What about just cleats?
About one size, same sole.
What if What about Timberlands?
Oh, Timberlands. Yeah, that could work.
That's right.
I think there's a market here.
One size fits all.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
They can identify.
Yes. All right, Chuck. Well, listen, that was a lot of good. Those were good words.
Very good, Chuck.
Smart words.
Thanks for having me on.
What'd you think
Thank
of
you for coming.
What'd you think of the show? It's great, right?
It was a lot of fun.
Are you going to commit to being SEO Chuck?
Yeah, I could do this.
Okay.
I love it. I think this is the best thing we have. We actually have people on to ask you questions. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So too. But this was good for an introduction.
You know, one of my friends will be on here and be like, listen, can you look at my website? Just take a glance.
Mm-hmm.
A quick look, a quick peek.
Yeah.
I'm very encouraged that 5 to 10% are doing it the right way, because that means there's room to.
I feel like Chuck might be being generous. He seems like a nice guy.
Could be.
Might be like 1%, right?
There's one guy.
It could be. It was a guess, but there's a lot of room for improvement across
One
the board.
person.
Interesting. Well, fuck that guy. All right. We will be back tomorrow at 10 Eastern time to talk about ghosts and aliens somehow. From SEO Chuck to ghosts and aliens. Bye, America.
See ya.